Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can everyone hear me? Assalamu alaikum. Can everyone hear me? Okay, perfect. Okay, we are going to go ahead and get started. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi nabiyil kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. It is good to be back for our second webinar. And in our second webinar, you guys how we work and how the curriculum's made, and how you can go about basically taking advantage of the course in the future. So what we're going to go ahead and do is first, again, I want to do a quick recap, right? And today in this course today, or not in this course, in the webinar today, what we are going to focus on will specifically be going through one lesson of the Arabic course to show you how it is, excuse me, to show you how, hopefully, I'm not going to say easy or hard, but how functionable the lessons are in this course. So the first thing that I do want to do before I actually get into material, and we get into the material of this webinar, is I want to remind everyone of the 5 mindsets. Now, what are the 5 mindsets? Now, I'm going to go through them, and we can even write them down, and I'll do that for you guys. I'll actually open up a Word document and write that out for you guys so that you can just remember. Okay, so what are the 5 essential mindsets that we went over? The first mindset was to keep in mind that we want to work smart. I'm going to highlight this, or rather bold it and underline it. Work smart, right? Not hard. Don't work hard. You don't want to wrong thing over and over again and think that you're going to get it right. But you want to work smart. You want to know how to study. You want to know how you are as a student. You want to do some self-reflection before you jump into a course. That's the first thing you want to do. So if you understand yourself, then you will be able to understand and do well in the course. And at the same time, it comes in a hadith, whosoever knows themselves knows Allah. That's what it comes down to, is knowing yourself and knowing how you work. Number 2 is learn to grow spiritually with Arabic. Right? Learn spiritually with Arabic. To emphasize here is that when you are learning the Arabic language, when you are going through the Arabic language, you're not just learning some abstract concept which you're not going to use. Rather, you're learning something which is functional. You're learning something which is going to help you come closer to Allah. You're learning something which the du'as that you're going to recite, the prayers you're going to pray in your life, when you're standing in the prayer and you're going Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, you're hopefully going to have some amount of understanding and connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through this. So growing spiritually Arabic is important. It's not just some abstract subject. Number 3 is speaking and understanding Arabic are not the same. They are not. As I mentioned before, Arabic is a very, very different language. There are several accents. There are several words in the language. And I had mentioned English has about 1 million words or so, give or take. But Arabic has 90 million words. So because of that large times find it very difficult to just kind of, okay, I went to a shawarma and I have a buddy from Egypt, so I'm going to go talk to him or her and I'll learn Arabic. Yeah, you may learn Egyptian Arabic, or you may learn Palestinian Arabic, or you may learn Khaliji Arabic, but the Quranic Arabic, the Quranic paradigm, the Quranic language and word usage is very different than regular Arabic as we know it to be. So it's important to understand that. So you can't just learn to speak Arabic and automatically know to understand the Quran. And that is a common misconception. Number 4 is you need to love the Quran by knowing the Quran. And this ties into the second point as well. The second point, we had mentioned that you want to grow spiritually with Arabic. But the reason you want to learn Arabic is so that you can get to know the Quran. And you get to know the Quran by knowing the Arabic language, by understanding Quranic Arabic. And similarly, we mentioned what? We mentioned that this is a time of growth, that if you want to learn about your deen, you want to learn about the various Islamic sciences that our deen comprises. So you can go, you can Google, you can go to Wikipedia, you can take Islamic courses. And eventually, I would say maybe after a few months of your extensive study, or let's say even a year of extensive study, you're going to hit a roadblock. And the roadblock is that getting to the core of the Quranic message, of the multi-layeredness, of the multiple meanings present within the Quran in specific words, as we went over last time with the word taqwa, if you guys remember, that requires having some elementary fundamental understanding of the Arabic language. And you're going to be able to get that here. And number 5 is knowledge leads to wisdom. And we mentioned what? Wisdom is the how and knowledge is the what. So many times we may know something, but we may not know how to implement it. And knowing how to implement it, knowing the techniques present, knowing what you need to do specifically to implement something is extremely important. You see today, for example, the example that I had given, an engineer may create a plane, but he may not be able to pilot it. So you need someone who can pilot the plane, who can bring out its functionality. So yes, for many years of your life, you may have been taught how to read the Quran without understanding. It has a very functional purpose. You may have been taught different lessons about the Quran. But you see what word I just used there? I used the word about. You may have been taught about Islam. You may have been taught about the Quran, but were you actually taught the Quran? So now the wisdom which we begin to uncover starts when we dive deep into the actual meanings and wordings and the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran, in the original Arabic that it was revealed in. So we went over that. Now let's come back to the webinar slides. So today what we're going to do is we are going to go through a grammar lesson. And I want to show you how easy it's hopefully going to be and rewarding if you just put in the effort and you have the right mindset, which we covered. Again, the 5 mindsets, I would really recommend that if you haven't, go back and watch the last webinar, because it'll be really beneficial to you. Because if you get those 5 mindsets down, inshallah, it will begin to create a path for you of understanding the Quran, which in a way that's going to be easy and it's going to be fruitful to you. Now, the lesson which we're going to be covering today is the first lesson of the keys to the message, the 10 keys to the 10 keys to begin understanding the Quran in Arabic, the course that we're going to be teaching. We're going to go over parts of speech. So you can get a pen or paper, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to transfer over to this guy right here, which is actually the first lesson. So I'm just going to actually go through it from here, and hopefully we'll all be able to benefit. Now, what I want you to do is just take a second maybe I'll give you guys 30 seconds and go ahead and either open up a Word document or get a pen and paper. So just so you can jot down notes and to see how this would work for you. So go ahead and do that. By the way, can you guys just give me a confirmation one more time that you can hear me? Okay. A lot of students. Okay, increase the font. All right, got it. All right. Excuse me. Alrighty. Everyone ready? Okay. So I'm going to quickly go through this. And this is a list of the parts of speech that we know of in the English language. So it's important to understand, and again, we're not going to sit here learning English grammar because that's not my purpose, because I'm sure the majority of us who speak English, we didn't sit there and study grammar in a very hardcore, in-depth way. The majority of us who, especially for someone like myself, who was born and raised in the United States, we are not taught grammar that heavily as much as we are taught the functional purpose of the language and maybe literature. So if you need a second to maybe just tag along, feel free to just take a look at this document as I'm pulling it up on the screen and just read it. But for now, what I want you to do is I'm just going to go through these 8 parts of speech, and then we're going to speak about how it connects into Arabic. So in order to appreciate parts of speech in Arabic, I want to review parts of speech in English, and there are 8 parts of speech in the English language. Now, number 1 is a noun. And a noun is a person, place, or thing. Now, I know a lot of people will get into person, place, thing, idea, and whatnot, but just for the sake of the exercise, take a look at it in this regard. So we know what a noun is, like a book or a pen or a car, right? Person, place, or thing. Just keep it there for now. Number 2 is you have pronouns, and it's a word used in place of a noun already mentioned. So he, she, they, you, I, we. If I'm talking about myself, if I'm talking about Nihal, Nihal woke up this morning. Nihal ate a sandwich. Nihal went to school. Nihal drove a car. It would get very repetitive if I kept saying my name over and over again. So if someone else is talking, let's say I'm talking about someone named Umar, right? I would say Umar woke up this morning. He ate a sandwich. He went to school. He drove a car. So pretty straightforward. So that's what a pronoun is. It kind of replaces the noun in a sentence. Number 3 is an adjective, and it's a word that describes a noun. So for example, you're talking about a boy. Boy is a noun. A tall boy, the tall is the adjective. The word tall is an adjective, which is describing boy. So we know that as well. Number 4 is an adverb. Now, this is anything that describes anything besides the noun. So it's mainly the state of the noun or the state of something. So for example, in a verb, the boy came quickly. How did the boy come? He came quickly. Describing an adjective. The boy is very tall. The boy is very tall. So over here we said a tall boy. Now here we're saying a boy. The boy is very tall. Okay? Then if you can also describe another adverb, right? So the boy came very quickly. How quickly did he come? He came very quickly. So an adverb, it's simply a addition. It's something that describes anything in the sentence besides the noun. It's important to remember that. Now, the 5th thing is a verb. And this is what? What is a verb? It is basically something caged within time. That's the main aspect of it. But for the purpose of a definition here, we're saying that the word is anything that indicates, number 1, an action, and number 2, a tense. Now, the action in this example right here is what? Is hitting, right? He's hitting, he is going, they are coming, they are eating. So the action that's happening, right? That's the first part of the verb. The second part of the verb is the tense, meaning is it happening in the past? Or rather, did it happen in the past? Is it happening in the present, or will it happen in the future? So any verb that you know of in English, If it has these two characteristics, it's considered a verb. That's a verb. Now, again, what I want you to do is keep these things in mind. If you already know these things, then it's okay. But if not, I would say just jot it down, just so for the next exercise that when we do it, you'll have this in mind. So we did verb. Now let's go through preposition. Preposition. Now, a preposition it's an added word, basically. It's a word which by itself is not going to really have any meaning, but for the purpose of the definition, it's a word that brings out certain attributes of a noun which would normally not be understood. So for example, I am traveling from Chicago to New York. But if I said I am traveling Chicago, New York, you don't know whether I'm traveling from Chicago or to Chicago, or from New York or to New York. At the same time, if I just say from in a sentence or to without anything before or after it, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. So any word here that is basically adding to the meaning, so it's attaching itself to another word, is a preposition. So like from, to, on, in, by. So keep that in mind. There are conjunctions. Conjunctions are words that include and, or, but, rather, and it's a word that connects a word or a phrase. So for example, Zayd and Amr came. Zayd and Amr came. As opposed to saying Zayd Amr came. If I don't say and, then guess what? I'm gonna end up doing what? I'll be joining the names of Zayd and Amr. So the person who I'm speaking to, the person that is being spoken to, they may think that Zayd Amr is one person. His last name is maybe Amr. Or maybe if I wrote Zayd or Amr came. Zayd or, right? You have or here. Then you know that one of them came and one of them did not come. That's what you know. Zayd, maybe there was something, if I said but, Zayd but Amr came. Zayd but Amr came. Now you would think that there's maybe something before Zayd that was left out and you're missing context, so you don't know what this is referring to. So it makes the whole sentence without any meaning. And same thing with the word rather. That's what it comes down to. So that's the purpose of the conjunction. And then there are articles. The a, the an, the, a, an. Again, same thing. They don't make any sense by themselves. Now, I want you all to keep that in mind. Again, I'm going to go through this again. Nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs, verbs, prepositions, conjunctions. Okay. The next part that I'm going to move on to are Arabic parts of speech. Now, again, don't get freaked out yet. I just need you to trust me so far. In Arabic, there are 3 types of words: an ism, a fi'l, and a harf. Now, again, I'm going to review this again. How many types of speech did I go over in English? I went over 8 types of speech, 8 parts of speech in English. In Arabic, there are only 3 parts of speech. 3 parts of speech. So what we're going to be doing today is categorizing these 8 parts into these 3 parts. So actually, when you're learning Arabic, it's important to know that in English, you have nouns and pronouns and verbs and conjunctions and prepositions and adverbs and adjectives. All of that will be classified either under ism, either under fi'l, or either under harf. So I'm going to go through this. We're not going to go through this word for word, but for the sake of the exercises coming up, I'm going to tell you this right now. What is included under ism? What is included under ism? Names, people, places, things, ideas, adverbs, and adjectives. Now look, a name. I want you to think back now. Think back to this. Person, place, or thing. A name or people, places, things, ideas. So far, all of these things. Now I know the definition above, definition above said person, place, or thing. But you can expand that a little bit. A name is also actually, not necessarily a noun, but within Arabic, it falls under the ism. Now, in Arabic, they'll loosely translate ism as noun, and I'll show you why. Because anything that is a person, meaning people, a place, or a thing, and now we've included ideas, is part of what? It's part of the noun, right? And now the noun has been classified under ism. And we've also included names and adverbs, which are not necessarily nouns, but they are part of ism. And lastly, adjectives. Adjectives. So from the above category, we have this whole guy, right? These four guys, people, places, things, and ideas, which is the first one, right? The first one is a noun. We've included that into ism. The second thing we have are what? Adjectives. That's also part of ism. And then the third thing, we have our adverbs over here, which is now also part of ism. So you see how we're categorizing them? Now, I'm going to skip all of this for a second. I'm going to talk about the fi'l. The fi'l is, it indicates an action in reference to the past, present, or future. We went over this. And now, what did I mention? This is loosely translated as verbs. So going back up here, so noun we mentioned is part of ism, adjective is part of ism, adverb is part of ism, but verb is part of fi'l. Verb is part of fi'l. Oh, and I want to also include pronoun under ism. So it's not here, but I will add it because it should be. But over here, it should be a pronoun as well, but I guess I forgot to add it. So all this 1, 2, 3, 4 is part of ism. 5 is part of fi'l. Now, what's the last category? I said there are 3 categories, right? The third category is a harf. And a harf is a word whose meaning cannot be understood without ism or fi'l. They cannot be understood without ism or fi'l. And I want to add something. Where'd it go? Yeah. So I'll do this for you guys. Make it bigger. So if we go on top for a second, where'd it go? Okay. We have left with what? Prepositions, then conjunctions, and then lastly, articles. Now, articles, all of these things equal harf. All of those things equal harf. So remember, articles, conjunctions, and prepositions are part of harf. Verbs are part of the fi'l. And adverbs, adjectives, pronouns, nouns are under ism. That's how it falls into those categories. Now, we are going to have what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these exercises, and I'm going to pick on some people to do that. Alrighty. Assalamu alaikum. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. Alrighty. Cool. So, sorry, what I was going to say was, uh, can someone tell me where the connection went off, and then I will go ahead and just review from there? Ah, okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share. So can you guys hear me? Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and raise your hand, or say that if you would like to try the example, and I'll share the example. And if you see the screen kind of looking funny, can you guys hear me? All right, choose me. I'm going to go ahead and invite you as a speaker. Yes, don't worry. You guys will get the notes, inshallah. Okay, Rabia, I made you into a speaker, so can you speak in, or are you able to? Sister Rabia, I made you into a speaker, so you should be able to talk. If there's an unmute button, you should unmute your mic. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what's going on but what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and do these myself because unfortunately we're having technical difficulties. So I'm going to just go ahead and see how these concepts have been understood between English and Arabic and show you how it's done in the example. Now, again, we mentioned what? We mentioned that nouns, pronouns, adjectives, adverbs are of one category, and they are isms. Okay? They are isms. So we have this guy, this guy, this guy, adjective, ism as well. We have verbs, which are part of fi'l. And then we have prepositions, conjunctions, articles. Okay? The green guys are what? They're harf. This guy, a verb is a fi'l. And then nouns, pronouns, adjectives, and adverbs fall into it. So under that understanding, we're going to go ahead and try these examples. Okay? Now, let's take a look at this. So look, God. Let's look at the word God. I'm going to make this screen bigger. God. Okay? Let's see. God, if I try to categorize it, ism, fi'l, or harf. Ism, fi'l, or harf. Now, God, under this idea, person, place, thing, or idea. Now, God is not really a person, but for the sake of the language, yes, it is a being, you could say. So a being would be what? Ism. So I'm going to make ism yellow. Created. Created, well, let's see. He created, she created, they created. Okay, to create. Create is an action. We know that, right? If you make something, then it's an action. Now, did he create in the future? Did he created right now? No, created is past. But we don't need to get that much into it. We know that what? Green is going to be, actually, I'm going to make blue. Blue is a verb. Blue is a verb. Does the make any sense by itself? No, it doesn't. So it's either going to be a preposition or a conjunction. We're actually not interested with that right now, right? We already categorize all these words into what? We categorize either the ism, fi'l, or harf. Those are the three that we are working with. So I'm going to make it green for harf. World, world, let's see. Ism, fi'l, or harf. And I mentioned what ism consists of nouns, right? Person, place, thing, or idea. Adverbs, adjectives, right? We went over that. And what do nouns consist of? Actually, I'm not going to write. I'm just going to write person, place, thing. Okay, the world. Well, the world is a place. The world is a place. So it's going to be ism, right? It's going to be, ism. Make this guy this. Harf. Okay. God created the world. So doesn't make any sense by itself. So it's going to be a harf. People, person. People is the plural of person, not persons. It doesn't mean persons. The plural of person is people. Can. Let's see. Can. Can is going to be ism, fi'l, or harf. Let's think about this. You can also type it in the box, whichever one you think it is, but can. Person, place, thing, idea. No. How about fi'l? We said fi'l is what? Verb. Can is not really a verb. Harf, preposition, or conjunction. What else did we have? Preposition, conjunction, article. Yeah. Most likely it's going to be harf because we don't really see any meaning in it. Worship? Worship. He worships. She worshipped. He is worshipping. So that's going to be what? A verb. Him. Pronoun, right? Pronoun. He or him, they're both pronouns. So it's going to be ism. Constantly. This one's going to be interesting. Constantly. How is the action being done? Now, very carefully, someone who is not careful about this example will say, oh, constantly is a verb. I said, no, it's not a verb. It's describing the verb. And something that describes a verb is known as a adverb. So in essence, it is a ism. It is an ism. Okay. So that's the first example. It is the first example. Let's do one more. Let's do one more. I went to the store and bought some organic milk. Tomorrow I plan to drive towards the university. Let's do this one. Tomorrow. Again, person, place, thing, idea. Tomorrow is actually a certain time period. It's a place. When, right? When are you going to do it? You're going to do it tomorrow. Now, many times people will say, oh, but it's a verb. I said, not really. Tomorrow is in your, do you do tomorrow? No, tomorrow is a certain time or place. It's a certain, it's a certain place. And we said what? Places are isms. Okay? I, me, is what? Pronoun. Pronouns are ism. Planned. He planned. She planned. I planned. They all planned. Planning. Planning is what? A verb. Fi'l. Very good. To. Here, there, to harf because it doesn't make any sense by itself. Drive. Right? You drive your car. It's a certain action. He is driving. She is driving. They drove. I will drive. Is a verb. Towards. Towards. Well, towards is giving a direction, right? It would be more of an ism. That's what it would come down to be. Toward is a direction. The, same thing. Oh, not same thing. The is going to be harf. It's going to be harf. Why? Because by itself it makes no sense. University. University is a place. Places are isms. Oh, you guys are getting good at this. Looking at the responses, you guys are doing all right. Pretty good so far. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Now, what I am going to do is, you guys. What I'm going to do is, hold on 1 second. All right, let's do one more example. I'll do one more with you guys, and then we'll conclude, inshallah. I'll take some questions and conclude. I. Again, we already know I is a ism. Very good. Went. Right? He went, she went, they are going, right? Went. Went is the past verb, fi'l. To doesn't make any sense by itself. Harf. The doesn't make any sense by itself. Harf. Store. Store is a place. There you go. And doesn't make any sense by itself. Harf. Bought. Bought is the past tense of buying. He is buying. He bought. She will buy. So it's going to be a verb. Some. Some, it's some is a tricky one. But in Arabic, if you were to translate some, it would actually no. Yeah. So in English, it would be a harf, but then in Arabic, it would be an ism. Because the word some in Arabic is ba'du, and ba'du is part of a certain category of words, which are isms. So just like every rule that we have, there are some exceptions, but for the sake of the English language and for the sake of this lesson, some will be a harf. Organic milk. It's doing what? It's describing the milk. It's an adjective, And an adjective is what? An ism. Very good. And lastly, milk. Milk is a thing. It is going to be an. So that is the lesson. Going back to the slides. We alhamdulillah went through all of this. Went through all of this. And yeah. So what you just went through, yeah, actually go ahead and type in your questions in the chat box first thing, and I'll answer them. I know some of you sent me some emails. If the team did not respond to you, I will respond to you inshallah very soon, but be sure to go ahead and take a look at that. So leave your questions in there. And today what you just saw was an example of simply one of the rules of the 10 that we're going to go through. So this was a part of the first rule. So if you were able to follow along today, somewhat, you know, like some people are like, oh, I didn't understand everything you said. I was like, trust me, man, I've gone through 4 years of college. I went through 4 years of madrasa. And I'm going through another 3 years of a Islamic university. You'll never, ever get anything on the first try. You have to review. You have to take a look at your notes. You have to talk to other people around it. Remember, work smart, not hard. If you don't get it right away, it's okay. It's okay. You just have to put in the effort. And inshallah, this PDF will be sent out to you all afterwards. But you have to put in the effort and have the right mindset. Come with the right mindset, inshallah, you'll be able to understand the Quran in Arabic. And as you saw today, if you were able to follow along, these are similar techniques that we will be using to teach you in this course. So if you liked what you saw today, make sure that you go ahead and register for the course. There's an early bird offer going on right now. Again, keys to the message, 10 keys to begin understanding the Quran in Arabic, taught by myself, Nihal Khan. And at the same time, for any offers currently that may be going on, look in the offers tab in this webinar. And currently we do have a 17% discount. So take a look at that. And if you have any questions about this, then go ahead and you can ask me. Hold on 1 second. So let's see. Yeah, you guys could go ahead and ask me questions about the course. I'll be more than happy to answer it. No, I'm not the brother of Noman Ali Khan. Khan is a very common last name, though he was my teacher many years ago. Does the subject come first with object in Arabic? Oh, that's a good question. So for Brother Bilyamin, the subject and object depends actually in the Arabic sentence, and we will go through it afterwards when we get into it. So sometimes the subject will come first, sometimes the object will come first. The first webinar link, I believe, is available on the website. Does anyone have any questions about the course material? Can we take quality and quantity as an is by Sister Rabia? I did not understand your question. Because, so Sister Nabila, can I say he can or she can? Can is not a verb, right? could not. It's a conjunction, and we said what conjunctions are part of harfs. If you're Sister Namla, if you are on the email list, inshallah, you will get the PDF. And this is part of our booklet that we will be sending out to all registered students, inshallah. The course fee is listed in the registration, and then the course will inshallah run for 10 weeks, give or take. Is this purely for Quranic recitation or Arabic language? The rules you're going to learn, inshallah, in this course, if you further your studies in Arabic, then inshallah, you'll be able to begin understanding the Quran in Arabic, number one, and number two, it's going to help you in the future if you want to learn Quranic Arabic as well. Even spoken Quranic Arabic, which is not really Quranic, it's called Modern Standard Arabic. So if you want to pursue Modern Standard Arabic in the future, inshallah, it will come to be of use to you. How organized is the actual course? I hope it's pretty organized. Sometimes here and there, like we have a booklet which we go off of, but I'll be real with you guys. Sometimes I feel because I wrote the booklet over a period of 5 or 6 years, so there's sometimes things which I feel you can leave them out, or I'll add some new things. So if you have the notebooks, just take some notes on the size, this and that. So that's that. Iman, it is a very good question. Why was the exercise in English and I thought it was going to be in Arabic? So I didn't bother with the Arabic because many times people feel daunted by the Arabic right away. So what they end up doing is, because the Arabic comes out right away, they get very scared. So I use English to just show that, look, if you can do this in English, you'll be able to do it in Arabic. And because it's not the actual course, it's just kind of like an intro, then that's why I did just the English. Are the Arabic rules founded on English language or has its own? I don't think so. Are Arabic rules founded on English? No, Arabic is a much older language than English. I do not teach for Sharia Arabic program, Brother Tahir. How long will it take you to learn very well Arabic? Well, I've been studying Arabic for 5, 6, 7, 8 years now. Yeah, 8 years, and it's still an ongoing effort. Arabic has 90 million words. English has maybe 1 or 2 or 3 million, a maximum 10 million. So with Arabic, it's an ongoing effort completely. So learning to, as I mentioned in the first webinar, learning to speak a language, learning to read a language. Again, learning to speak a language is a different skill. Learning to read a language is a different skill. Learning to understand a language is a different skill. And learning to write a language is a different skill. They're 4 different skills completely. 8 years, no, it was maybe 4 years, you could say, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 years part-time, 4 years full-time, 3 years part-time. And yeah, I think 4 years full-time, 4 years part-time, basically. Yes, that's a Sister Rabia, you're right. And so we can add quality and quantity. Yes, you can. But I just categorized it for a beginner's level to understand it in an English paradigm. Yes, the actual course is very similar to this webinar. Sister Sarah, I do not know any Arabic. Will this class be recommended? If you can differentiate the basic letters of the Arabic language, yes, then I would recommend it. If you can say darasa, if you can say qatala, if you can say fi sabili, right, or something like that, if you can do the general part of it, then inshallah it will be good for you. I missed the first webinar. Okay, I think that's available if you sign up, or it's on the website. It should be there. The QuranAcademy.io website, it should be there, inshallah, the first webinar. Do you offer classes for kids? Well, again, this class, when I taught it, I had in the same class, I had someone who was 8 years old and I had someone who was 70 years old. So if your kid can read Arabic, like as I mentioned, if they can go through darasa, if they can go through the basic letters, then they're more than welcome to, inshallah, sign up. Are the classes separated by gender? I don't know how to separate classes by gender online, if that's even possible. Thank you, Sister Farhan. Jazakallah khair. Is it live at the board or recorded ones? Okay, so there, if I'm correct, there will be 2 live sessions a week, and then there will be recordings available as well. So just as I went through it, I will be going between a Word with you guys saw me using that Word document. So I'll be going between a Word document, a PDF, and then my own face. That's how we teach the course. It's not just Arabic, Sister Radia. Learning to understand Arabic is different from reading and writing it. It's any language. Learning to read, for example, my parents are from India. I can read Urdu, I can speak Urdu, but my speaking Urdu is much, much better than my reading and writing, simply because you are more well-versed in that. But in a lot of places in the Arab world, for example, they're not going to be so focused on reading classical Arabic text, but they'll be more focused on speaking. If you go to a madrasa in India or Pakistan, the majority of people are what? They will be able to read Arabic very well, sometimes even better than a natural Arab, and understand better than a natural Arab. But if you ask them to speak, they may not be able to do it. So it's any language, that's the skill. Whether you're learning French, German, Malay, anything. Brother Ali, kaise hain aap? Hame theek ho. Okay. All right, guys. We kind of went over now. It's been 7 minutes over. So again, go to the offers link and you can learn more about the course. You can go ahead and do that. Again, if you have any questions, you can either email myself, or you can, again, if you have emails related to the course, I'd be more than happy to answer it. But just, make sure you go ahead and actually send me emails on the course. Again, course fee and all that stuff is listed in the link to there. Sister Nyla, what did you say? Just please remind me. When I'll answer it. Brother Shaheen, I put it on the bottom. Okay. All right, inshallah, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and hope to see you all soon. For any further communication about any future webinars or the class itself, please be sure to take a look in your emails, and inshallah, you will get something. All right. Assalamu alaikum.